Forgot to preset this, guys. Yeah, I just wanted to pop back in here and talk a little bit through some concept art stuff. I haven't been on for a little while because it's been super crazy busy week. So, and I don't have a lot of time now, but I wanted to pop in really quick and talk a little bit about sort of my approaches to the Phoenix concept piece, right? So pick up kind of where we left off. So how would I go about sort of repairing this thing? Now, you guys remember from sort of a few weeks ago, I was cleaning this up, I was getting right in the groove, and then suddenly I lost the file, right? So all that work was wasted. And I flipped over to another character called Deidre just to kind of get me back into the sort of swing of things, and now I'm ready to kind of back in, at least to repair what I lost here. A couple of interesting things to note. Something I didn't realize, but both characters that I'm working on currently are quite angry. They have very, very similar facial expressions. That wasn't done deliberately, so that's kind of interesting. So I didn't want to go through cleaning this up again because I hit on a few really, really cool things, little happy accidents, and I didn't want to lose those. So I actually went back to this Twitch stream and screen captured what I needed, right? So it harkens back to what I said before. When you're doing kind of digital art, especially when you're in the roughing stage, you don't need to have perfect scans or things like that. You can take mobile phone snaps, or you can take a really low res image of what you got going on, because you're far, far, far away from cleaning up and doing final color and that kind of thing. So I just went there and grabbed this. So I wonder if I can cut and paste this guy. Let's try it. So I'm gonna copy paste. So will you paste? You do paste as another layer. That's awesome, really good. So that makes it easier, right? So I don't have to do this stupid import-export business. And you can see by the quality of the screen grab, actually it was quite high res. So I'm sort of happy with that. Now I'm just gonna non-uniformly scale this guy back down. And it doesn't have to be perfect, again, because I was just sort of in the middle of doing my cleanup thing, right? Did I have it perfectly placed right at the get-go? And then I just screwed it up. That's okay. Let's, I am sort of missing the arrow keys. That's all right. That's good enough, right? So I've got that back in here. So now I'm just going to do a real quick, where's my image adjust? Holy cow, moving to a different piece of software. Oh, what a nightmare. All right, so let's go into color. We have there we go, filter. This ought to do it for us. So I am looking for a tone curve. Let's play with that. That looks pretty cool. I've never used this before. Oh yeah, that's awesome, right? So the tone curve, I can work on the darkest darks, and here I think I'm playing with my midtones, and then the lightest lights. I probably want to ease that curve. That's looking okay to me. Maybe that might be a bit too much. That's looking okay. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to erase the extraneous bits. Now, I'm not going to keep this, right? So I do have to face the fact that I'm going to be cleaning this up anyway, but at least I've captured what I intended to do, right? Which is kind of what I wanted anyway. Just sort of a reference to my initial thinking, right? So I'm gonna just try to blend erase this a little bit. Blend erase, not really. Just seeing if there you know what? I'll just do something like that, and then I'll come in and I'll do another one of those. That's all I wanted anyway. So let's pop back in here to our tone curve. Oh no, we don't want to. So let's restore the previous setting. Nope. Reset, that's what I want, right? So now I'm just gonna pull a little bit of those mid-tones out again. It'd be nice to darken some of the darks a little bit. We want this guy going up just a touch. I wanna make sure that I keep the integrity of what I originally had in mind. Now, I'm sort of curious, is this a lower res version? Because it's really gone pixelated. Yeah, it looks like a lower res version. So I might do this whole process again, but I'm going to take this moment to isolate her now off my rough page, right? Because now is the time. I really kind of want to get in there and sort of work on just her. I also want to have access to my mirroring tools because I'm going to need those big time. So I'm going to come in here and, well, first of all, let's save this. I think we have iterative saves, don't we? So let's go and save. We should have an iterative save. I hope we have an iterative save. Okay, so that's gone over. And let's see if we can just edit, not image size. Where's our cropping tool? Again, moving from Photoshop to this. That's okay. I'm giving it a chance. And there we go. So we can do that. Oh, no, I don't want to. Don't apply. Okay, so where are we here now? That's a transform, that's a mesh transform, and we want, where's our cropping tool? Every image editor has a cropping tool, every single one. Come on now, guys. Are you calling it transforms, or what are you calling it here? There's a fill tool, pen tool, operation, that's a shape brush tool. I think, if I remember correctly, it's a matter of doing that, and then, was it a right click? Let's go into, now, transform mode. Let's see. Oh, there we go, crop. Outside the canvas, yes, there you go. That was more painful than it needed to be. Right. So just to avoid the distraction, I'm going to pop over to the rough layer here, and I'm going to do a little lasso select of this character. We will deal with her later. She's awesome. I love how she turned out, right? And then we'll turn this gray back on. So now I'm going to save to cloud as, and this one, Supers Series 1, and this is my Phoenix, take 1 on her. So full color, yeah, my take on Phoenix. So there's always a way to rescue your artwork, right? Now I want to change this image size. So let's come in here, and it's probably under, let's see, so there's got to be an image size, environment setting, brush environment setting, shortcut setting, usually under the edit menu. There we go. So image size. Oh yeah, right. Not happy with that at all. Oh my God. So we want 4096. So 4K along there. Cool. No wonder I was dealing with. I want to see what the pixel density is, so I'm going to zoom in till I see that pixel grid. You know what? We'll leave it at that. That's detailed enough. I think I'll be happy with that. So let me go down to, yeah, I don't know. Might be a little bit. Yeah, let's yeah, why not? Let's go image size again. And I'm going to put the 4096 on the width. There's barely any struggle with this. That's pretty cool, right? So that wasn't too bad. Not as painful as it could have been. And I've got nice pixel density. Forgive me zooming in and out all the time. It seems to be that the scroll wheel is doing the opposite. It feels a bit counterintuitive. So I wonder if it's still in my cut buffer. So I'm going to hit Control V to paste. Are you still there in my buffer? You are. Now this makes more sense because it's smaller, and it should have been smaller anyway because this was a screen grab from my Twitch stream. So I'm a little bit more confident that this is going to work out a little bit better. So I'm going to scale this guy up, and let's see if we can. I nailed it last time, so I want to see how close we can get with this. Yeah, something like that. I'm zooming in. It's a little bit fuzzy, meaning I'm not exact pixel by pixel. So in this scaling, if I'm eyeballing it, I want to err on the slightly smaller side, because if you guys remember, oh, actually, you guys wouldn't remember if you're just watching my stream, but if you're in my class, I did mention that whenever you make the character's head larger, you imperceptibly make them younger, right? The smaller head adds more age to the character. I'm noodling this. That's fine. Okay, so that's cool. I'm happy with that. Let's come in and do our tone curve. Let's see what else we got here. Lens, blur, mosaic. Ah, okay, cool. So I'm going to reset this guy because we're starting from the beginning. I'm going to push that mids all the way up, but I'm losing detail, right? So I want to be sort of careful. Let's bring in some of the darks. That's nice. I can totally see using this when I do my final ink line, right? That's looking really good. So that's pulling just a little bit more. See, I don't want to lose too many of the gray pixels because we get like wonderful detailing in there. So let's see if we can just push this back just a touch. It actually kind of gives me cues as to whether or not I can replace this as well, right? So there's the neck. There was where that is. Maybe a touch backward here. Something like that. Again, I'm noodling it. Yes, I know. So I got to back out very slowly. There we go. So I'm going to come in. Yeah, it's a little bit mismatched, but we're close enough. Again, you don't want to kind of be too finicky at this stage because there's loads of work yet to be done. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to resize this, right? The brush latency, it seems almost none at all. So I'm sort of happy about that. I wonder if I can keep this. Let's inspect the line work. Ooh, that's not bad. I might actually be able to keep this line work. That really, really makes me happy. So that means I've probably saved my work. That's very cool. I really was not looking forward to having to redo all that stuff. But I think we're okay. All right, so we're looking at 329. I'm wearing a tank top today because it is a bright sunny day and I'm really cooking in here. So, you know, I gotta keep that body temperature down. All right. Okay, so let's start grouping these guys. So I can tell by turning it on and off that I have slightly lowered the head. Now I'm going to move this out because, yeah, I don't want that to be the case. So I'm going to bring the transparency down and I'm going to try and raise this up a bit. And we can see it's starting to blur out, right? Meaning I've broken with the original rough underneath. I don't know if the original rough underneath was, you know, even that tight to begin with. So maybe this is pointless. Oh, there we go. That's a nice match. Little bit of a scale difference. I might actually just bring that out this way. Yeah, cool. There you go. I don't mind that at all. All right. So that's my clean. That was the original. So we don't need that anymore. I can trash that. And Control G to group. No, Control G creates a grid. So what are our layer folder? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to pop that in there, and this will be my clean, right? So we got our roughs working down here. I do know that I turned the opacity down. Let's bring that, crank that right back up. Ooh, that's a really dark line. Perhaps I should have not have done my level adjust with that. Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Just looks like an ink line, doesn't it? All right. I'm going to take off this. There's a bit of discoloration, but it's not too bad, you know. Oh, maybe it is. That's all right, though. I can live with it. Maybe it'll be a tonal happy accident, who knows? Right? And then let's see if we can get that tone curve again. Ooh, let's reset that. And then let's see if we can... I just want to soften this a little bit. That's not bad. Oh. There we go. That's doing that. Cool. I like that. That's really cool. That's what I was after. More of a kind of a gray pencil line, right? So that's really cool. Hey, how's it going? So yeah, I'm just trying to rescue my drawing because this didn't save. So I've just done a screen capture, and I don't know if you saw the earlier part of the episode, but I screen captured my Twitch video to grab this bit of it and put it back. So now I'm happy because we're back and I think we're good. Whew. Always sucks when you spend a fair amount of time cleaning up a drawing and then you end up losing it. I do remember I did go into, well, actually I don't know if it was this one or from the Deidre drawing, but I went in to kind of tighten up the scarf. Let's find a good. Okay. Oh, I love the line quality, man. Even though the interface really annoys and frustrates me, man, the line quality is just, it's so good. Man, okay. So I'm gonna find a little bit of a less harsh color and we'll come in there. I think I was too tight last time, so I wanna kind of try to get less tight. Now I'm drawing at a really weird and awkward angle. Yeah, Medibang paint. It's really cool. It's cheap. It's free. Well, it's free. So that's good. And the brush interpolation is really nice. Right. So I'm just going to. I think I had some hotkeys set here. Let's see. I did. Cool. So this way I can use my sort of dominant stroke angle. Right. And then when I come back, it just makes for a silkier line. Right. So I'm just going to come in here. So I can tell I'm getting tight again. So I want to try to avoid that. Okay. So one thing I never used to understand was I'd see these loop type things in a lot of comic book drawings and character drawings, and I never quite understood what it was. I started putting it in everywhere, but I never really quite got what it was. And it's just cloth folding over onto itself, right? And it's just shorthand. It's sort of just implying it a little bit, right? Let's pop you on a lower layer. Oh. Not sure what happened there, guys. So I'm in the group. Visibility of the group is there. Why did we just lose that? So let's see. Maybe if I move that guy up there. Oh, strand. Oh, yeah, okay. There's, I know what's going on. It's because there is the original scan underneath here. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I don't want to muck about with that. We'll keep the collar on the top. It's sort of counterintuitive, but that's okay. So I'm going to come over here and now I undid that because I like how there was a curve here. And then how it almost kind of cuts the corner like that. So let's take a look at that line quality. That's not bad because it looks like it's the cloth is sort of resting on top of something, right? So that's why I enjoy that. And then I'm just going to like that. And then there's this guy here. These are all just sort of happy accidents that happened whilst I was scribbling. I mean, deleting that because it doesn't make sense to. Something like that. So there's another kind of bit coming through there. And then I actually don't like that now. So I really sort of think through really every single line. So that's kind of cool. Sometimes what I'll do, let's try that. Sometimes what I'll do, that looks kind of cool, is I'll put a seam line right? That looks cool. I like that. Okay, so I'm sort of happy with that. Now, what I wanted to sort of tackle was the hair. Although I did talk a little bit about hair with the Deidre character on sort of the last episode. But I kind of like where the hair is going. Now, here's where I've got to kind of flip over to reference, because I've implied the hairstyle that I want, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's take a, what would you call that hairstyle? Let's just, women's hair, long, something like that. I don't know. We'll find something. So I don't want the side part. Let's see what this one looks like. See, I got these front-facing bangs. I don't even know if that's, yeah, something like this, right? So I'm going to take a look at that. And then what I'm looking for is this. Where does that, I mean, it looks like she has a hairband, but I don't want to draw a hairband on her. So I'm just wondering if there's a natural way that the hair might break this way, right? So I'm looking up here, but it's hard to tell because the angle is sort of a weird one. This is kind of cool. So it's helping me figure out how I can clump the hair to create a really nice sort of hairstyle. But really it's about the forward bangs. This is close, but I can't see how there we go. No, there's a split in that. I sort of wanted, let's see if we go long hair front bangs. We might get something there. Yeah, kind of like this. Kind of like this. Just trying to figure out. So it looks like it almost dovetails in here. So maybe I will try that. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, so it looks like there is the split going from one side here down the other side, and then there's just the poofy bit in the middle. That's closer. Yeah. There we go. This I'm going to keep on another window now, right? So I'm going to open this image in a new tab so I can sort of zoom in, right? That's it right there. So I'm going to pop that over there, and it's going to give me kind of an idea of how I want to approach this. So I'm going to chuck another layer on there because I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with the hair. I might actually go with a larger brush, because the thinner the brush is, the more unforgiving it is when you're doing your rough. And I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do here. Right, so something like that, which means there'd be these pieces here. I like how it curls a little extra around the front of the head there. That looks kind of cool. And then I know I'm covering up my happy little accidents from the last time, but that's okay. I just want to find a really cool hairstyle. So here, when I'm doing this, I'm really trying to think about how the hair falls. You got to be aware of that. So here the curve is not so pronounced because it's lying against the side of her head, but this one's going to droop more towards the ground, right? And then I want to see what happens towards the back. Okay, so it's sort of, she styled it sort of up and then around. I don't want to do the waving that she did. It looks like she put a curling iron through there and did that, so I don't want to do that per se. So how does it? I think I'm just going to have to go with that idea of the split. So I might draw a line here and then see kind of how that looks. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Oop. So I'm trying to fan it out from some, this is a mess in here, but I'm trying to fan it out and then maybe curl something by the ear. It's almost like with this curl behind the ear, we want a larger piece down this way, don't we? I think we do. So all that wonderful work on the scarf may be gone. Haha, that's all right. Kind of like that. What do you guys think? Okay. Now I gotta watch that the sort of the waviness doesn't interfere with the waviness of the scarf. But I'm kind of happy with that, and then something like that. So how am I gonna frame her? Okay. I know the hair's super long. I know. But I just want to see what that's like. Might be all right. I mean, there's a whole reason I'm drawing a cartoon character. It's just because I like to get away with the exaggeration. That kind of looks cool. So this is just sort of a planning stage for me. That's why it's like a semi-clean line, but not really, right? So I'm going to come in here and bring that opacity down again, right? I'll probably move this out of the clean layer, otherwise it will confuse me, right? So that's me breaking down the hair. Now that I've brought the opacity down, I'm not entirely sure. That's not working for me. I think this reference is steering me in the wrong direction. So we will kill that and try to find something. So there's the front bit, the part down the middle, and then coming down either side. I think that that's really kind of what I want to do. Yeah, I think that's closer to kind of what I want to do. So I'll pop that over to the side, and I'm not sure about this sort of hair coming down this way, guys. It's, I'm not entirely sure. I like that. Just looking back, the scarf is kind of cool. It's a couple of things I need to add to the scarf anyway. So I'm going to come in here. If I were going to do this, I'd want to come in here as well and then do sort of this, right? Right, so that there's a little bit of something, some kind of a attachment there. I'm going to pop in here and just do a quick little erase. Just to get rid of those, because I'm on that layer. Just want to clean that up a little bit. I mean, you can get away with a few kind of errant lines when you do this kind of a thing because it's all sort of crumpled and folded in on each other. What I generally tend to do when approaching knots is I'll add like this little loop and then maybe, you know, one big sort of loop here and then another one a little bit lower down. And then I'll try and squeeze in a couple of striation marks, you know, something like that. So I'm sort of loosely keeping in mind what it would look like when it's tied. Right? And then this will be, whoa, the scarf, right? Although I'm going to hit that later, I think. So I just want to come in here and sort out the hair, and then we'll call it a day, right? I always end up struggling with hairstyles, especially drawing short ones. Yeah, I know. I think for me, what helped sort out hairstyles was actually trying to create them in 3D, right? Because of the way a 3D hair engine like Nhair works, or if you're using fiber mesh and ZBrush, you really have to design a hairstyle in clumps, right? So I started to realize that if we take a look at the human head, right? That you've got obviously the ones we know about, the bangs, and then the sides, right? But then we've got a main part through here, part through there, and there's a bit at the back, and then there's a back fringe, right? So there are those areas that I became very, very aware of, and then made it incredibly helpful when I started to think about how I would style that hair. I think my knowledge of hair and drawing hair increased exponentially when I started building them in 3D. I was in charge of trying to figure out real-time hair solutions for skate. And we tried a few different things, follicle engines, something called a Verlet integrator, which actually was built for cloth, and then we used it for hair, and all kinds of different stuff. I tried cloth simulation using the real-time cloth engine that we had at EA, and then Alpha Textures doing that, and a lot of it was computationally expensive, unfortunately. But boy, did I learn a boat ton of stuff about hair. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Just want to kill that. Okay, so now that I'm here, I want to come in here. How do you break up those sort of tendrils of hair, right? Oops, wrong tool. Right. So I'm gonna just give myself some connecting things because I want to try and figure out what I want to do here. Okay, so I think one of the big things to sort of avoid with hairstyles is any kind of technique that leads you to symmetry, right? Because that's sort of the death knell of a haircut. So let's see. I'm going to try and find a favorable angle. I've got a happy accident here. I'm going to work with it. Oh, wrong layer. Right? And then this split here sort of works really well. Oh, if I can nail it. I'm at an awkward angle. That's what's causing me all kinds of issues. So I'm going to try and let's work with that. So when I'm clumping hair, I look for sort of main features, right? So what do I mean by that? So this is a main feature that I can just sort of cut into, right? And then this is a little bit too kind of out there, so I'll cut a little piece in there. I don't want it to look too much like a watermelon slice, right? So I'll do something like that. And this is like a loose strand of hair. And I love that split. It might be a little bit too long. Something like that. I like this line. That works really well for me. Although it extends too far and it looks like it cuts, it's a whole other clump of hair, which it's not, right? So I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do to connect all that stuff up. I do need to maybe bring that down like that, and then, oh, that's not silky smooth enough. So something like that. Now, this is where the rough is kind of getting in my way, so I'll turn the rough off, and I'll just take a look. That split, I think, is too pronounced. It actually looks like a space in her hair, so I'm going to just come in and knock this back a little bit, right? Right, and then a lot of it is you leave the spaces and you imply hair just to figure out where your major clumps are, and then you can go in and you can start to tighten it up a little bit, right? Something like that, right? Got a nice little happy accident here that I'm going to move down a little bit. I want to go over this again because it's got a nice little drawing at an awkward angle again. So it has this nice little L shape and I wanted to preserve that. So I'm kind of going in there like this. I'm going to zoom out. It's good. You want to get to the point where it's busy but not too busy, right? So it seems blank up here. So I don't know what I might just put a thin little line in here. Something thin just to, no, it's connected up. That looks weird, right? So yeah, I generally tend to spend a little bit of time finagling hair. Hairstyles get easier the more you do them. So I'm sort of spending a lot more time than I normally would because I haven't drawn this kind of hairstyle in ages, right? But it's all good. And now I'm going to do the tangled sort of hair split, right? Right. So I noticed that there are some characteristic ways that Glen Keane tackled hair in Tangled, right? And he does this thing where it's almost parallel lines, right? They're going in the same sort of trajectory, but they sort of taper to a point, which I think looks really, really cool. Right? Now I need to bring that rough back just a little bit, but I think I'll knock back the opacity a little bit so I can sort of see what I want to do here. That's looking pretty cool. I don't like how big it comes in the back here. It's very, very 1950s bouffant, right? So I want to pull that back a little bit. So this hairline here coming from the head, I want to make sure that it looks something like that so that there's a little bit, well, maybe So this indicates that the hair is being pulled towards the front, and it starts to puff out near the back. As it does, as it's approaching the back of the head, it'll start to, there'll be a little bit of room back there before it kind of turns over the crest of the back of your skull, right? So I wanted to kind of preserve that. And then I'm going to do, this is a technique more from 2D cartoons, right? And I'm just going to fan that out. I can't clean this up because I'm not visualizing it properly enough. So I'm just going to go back to roughing it again. You don't have to worry if you have to switch gears and rough stuff out. I don't know how many times you'll hit a drawing, right? So you gotta, the most important thing is you can't lock up and become like super tight with what you're trying to do. Oh, that was an ugly line, right? And then, oh no. So here, I don't know what to do, right? So I haven't made up my mind. So I've got it belling out, then belling in, then belling out again. But that just looks odd, right? So it's got to come down, and then I want it to bell out a little bit because it's got to indicate that it's going around the body there. I think this hair strand is throwing me a bit, so I might do something like that. That's not too bad. I'm going to try that without the rough. Yeah, it's okay. It's looking a bit better. I'm still debating whether or not to drape that bit of hair down the front. I don't think I want to do that now. Right? It's nice to have her face in the clear, but I do want to get those bangs in. So I'm gonna, didn't I draw bangs? I swore I drew bangs. I must have erased them. My God, it's too hot in here, I think. Starting to lose it a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna pop those bangs in. At this point, I'm gonna name this layer hair, just so I know what I'm doing. And how do I have it go? So I'm thinking, is that encroaching on her face too much? That might be kind of cool. Let's try that. Yeah, that's all right. And then I might kind of dovetail this in like that. That looks cool. I'm really sort of happy with that. And we're gonna knock back the opacity of our rough again so I can have a clearer idea of what I'm doing. I don't know, it still seems a little bit big on the back there, like up in this area here. But we'll leave it for the time being. And then I'll just fill in these blanks. Oops. And the key to this is like strong, confident strokes, right? So you just go, right? And then go for it, right? Don't slow your stroke down, right? And then if you leave a gap, you can always, it's hair, you can always fill it in with all kinds of stuff, right? Something like that. Now I'm trying to hit the big movements of hair here. Whoop. Something like that. And then so I know I'm going to go in there and imply a lot more stuff using using paint. So here's something I like to do as well. Notice how there's big blank area in the middle of that fall of hair. So I've added some detail here, and then I'm going to come in some detail there, right? So it sort of bookends it a little bit. Yeah, something like that, right? So that's cool. Now I want to That's at full opacity, which is good. I'm going to come in and erase the extraneous stuff here, which, you know, I don't really have to do at this point, but, you know. Actually, I want that connective line there. I don't know if we'll see it when all is said and done, but it's good to, it's nice to have that as a reminder. Actually, that looks part of her anatomy, so I'm going to get rid of it. It's not a big deal. Oh, I'm going to leave that because I haven't made a decision which thigh line I'm going to use yet. So I'm going to leave it like that, right? So the rest of it, I'm going to start to bring out during the painting process in terms of color and tone and things like that. This looks a little too sort of symmetrical, so I'm adding a few more hair strands in here, right? Something like that, which is always kind of fun to sort of add. So there you go. There's my quick kind of hit in the hair, right? So I'm going to sort of leave it at that because I want to come back later and hit the costume, and that's going to require a little bit more thought, quite a few more stages of roughing, because I haven't really designed the costume yet, right? So we'll come back and we'll finish this up. I'm going to save this. No. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to save a hard copy on my cloud drive in my sketchbook. That way I won't run into that thing again where I've lost my character, right? So let's, this will be my Supers series, and this is Phoenix. I'm going to save that off there, but I'm also going to save that cloud version as well, and then that way we're good. It's like the moments after when I'm saving, I'll just sit there and I'll look at it and just sort of see if it's working. I don't know, like maybe it's too lumpy here, so that that sort of second strand of hair, I might kind of fill it out a bit more during the painting pass. I don't know, not sure. So I'm going to save this to the cloud as well. So, and this will be my Supers series, and this was my Phoenix 2. There you go. Okay, so that's it for me. Thanks a lot for checking it out, and we will come back to Phoenix later.